Ultimate Invasion Issue 1 heads 2 months into the past at the Blackguard building, where a special squad of mercenaries breach the building's lobby, using their advanced sonic weapons to blow apart the soldiers and security guarding the building. The soldiers shoot back at the villains, whose specialized suits block the bullets with force fields. A rocket launcher activates from the roof and blasts the villains, but it does nothing to them, allowing one of them to get close and lob a black hole grenade at it, obliterating the launcher and most of the lobby with it. One of the men retrieves a keycard from an injured woman, and the others grab one from a man, who demands to know what they want. The leader says that they want $1 billion, but is told that this isn't a bank, and he knows as he shoots the man in the face. The men use the keycards to get further into the base, chatting about the supposed $1 billion payday ahead of them and how the leader will get most of it while the other guys only get about $10 million each. The team arrive at level 2 of the facility and they think the money is on the other side of the door, but the leader knows it's not the money, but a man who promised them the money if they freed him. Heading through the last door, they finally come face to face with the Maker, who finds it quite fantastic that they brought what he asked for. He retrieves his helmet and gear from the men as the men ask where the money is. Maker says it's all around them actually, floating in the ether, ready to be plucked out and brought into a more believable fiction. The men don't think he has it, not believing this guy organized all of this while locked up and he somehow couldn't get himself out. Maker retrieves a device from inside his helmet as he explains that his captors were quite benevolent and thought that he needed some care, having him see a rotating team of therapists, and after 37 grueling sessions, Reed managed to break and reprogram them so they would do his bidding out in the world. He orders the men to take off their masks and they do, told that they were each recruited specifically for this job. He gets them to rattle off their names and notes how one isn't the one he recruited. Dominic explains that Keith was killed in a car wreck 2 days before today, so Jackson jumped in at the last minute to take his place. Maker of course knew some unforeseen complications could occur and he planned for that eventuality, but his genetic sequencing were for the 4 soldiers he recruited for a reason. Luckily, this will be a less than 1% anomaly that no one will notice. However, the other Reed might notice, which kind of annoys the Maker. Dominic knows that it was a last minute decision for him to join, and this is the best they could do, as Maker talks about one of the therapists and how he encouraged and challenged Maker in a way he didn't believe was possible, since he made Maker want to be a better man with better goals. Maker activates his device and the soldiers are all violently turned inside out and into goo, reforming into a duplicate of the Maker who will take Reed's place in the jail. Weeks later, Mr. Fantastic and Black Panther survey the destroyed Blackguard facility, with T'Challa wondering why they are there. Reed explains that he couldn't stop thinking about the building exploding, like his mind was trying to solve a puzzle, so he tried to get closer, but he wasn't allowed near the building. However, luckily, T'Challa and his government friends came in and he was allowed to show him the sights. T'Challa laments how much red tape is on this one, and it's quite thick, knowing Reed could have gotten in if he wanted to alone. Reed reveals that he's trying to show restraint, however it's not going so well. T'Challa checks his readouts of the building, finding his contacts say the building was hiding a damage control node, asking Reed what it could be holding. Reed has an idea, heading into the node and finding the Maker is still there. Reed isn't so sure, and upon talking directly to Reed, it falls apart, turning the Maker into a puddle of gore. T'Challa calls Reed the smartest man in the universe, and now there is an evil version of him loose, so this needs to be handled quickly and quietly. Reed isn't so worried about the Maker and where he is, but more worried about what he's doing and why. A week later, the Maker infiltrates the Baxter building, passing the very sleepy Franklin who mistakes him for his father, motioning for the boy to be quiet. Maker heads to Reed's lab, using his computer to find what he needs, as the next day at the necropolis, the Illuminati gather, told by Reed that the Maker covered his tracks well. But they do know he took something from each of them, as he came to Wakanda and stole a shipment of vibranium, went to Arctillan and stole 4 inhuman Terrigen spheres, each with enough power to power a large city for 1,000 years. He then stole a time bridge from Reed that was for some reason inside a Stark storage facility in Long Island, and then he somehow made off with a Krakoan gateway from Krakoa. After all of that though, Maker wasn't done, stealing an immunity lance from the Sanctum Sanctorum and finally some dilution shields from Atlantis, which he killed his way through to get. Reed is unsure what what he is making, but T'Challa thinks they could make assumptions on what he is by what he stole. However, they don't know why he stole the spear and shield too. Iron Man thinks that it's a message to them specifically since he wants them to know, wondering what the villain is waiting for now. Later on in Brooklyn, Miles Morales' room is invaded by the Maker, who makes Miles jump from his bed onto the ceiling. Maker wonders if they have ever met before since the masks and monikers make it very difficult to tell. He tells the defensive Miles that he is like a brother to him, revealing that they are from the same world, wondering if Miles knows all about Earth 1610 and the secret wars that wiped it from reality. Miles questions how he didn't know that, but Maker reveals that he did, just not in the way he knows it now, and finally he is going home, wanting Miles to come with him. Miles thinks that the villain is totally serious, and the Maker thinks that if the roles were reversed, he would have liked the chance to have been asked as well. Miles, however, refuses, given a seemingly blank card by the seemingly annoyed Maker before he disappears in a flash of light. The next day, the Illuminati confront the Maker, who has created his portal device using the different items he stole from them. Maker knows that the heroes can't stop him since they don't know where he's going or what he's going to do. Black Panther assures the villain that they will follow him, but Maker tells him that the bridge controller will purge and randomize after he's gone, and not only that, he'll be running it through the Krakoan gate, which will hide his sequencing in its biological encoding, which is impossible to crack. Reed knows they will find him though, but Maker thinks that they will, but it will take them years, decades even, wondering if Reed really wants to find him that badly. Doctor Strange and Professor X tell him it depends on what he's planning on doing, but Maker will only say that he's going someplace that he can call his own to create what he intended to all along. Reed knows exactly where he's going, panicking and telling the team to stop him now. The heroes blast the shield, but it does nothing thanks to the dilution shields he stole from Atlantis. The heroes watch as the Maker heads through the portal, telling them that he's often wondered if he and Reed's roles were reversed, would he be any different to Reed, and it's why he's waited and left a trail. Also, he could have this moment with Reed and ask him this one question. Would Reed, if he could really change things, would he erase Maker from existence? After a moment of thought, Reed says that he would, and the Maker will keep that in mind as he disappears through the portal, which deactivates before the heroes can follow. Some other time on Earth 6160, Liz Allen tells the arriving Peter Parker that he is late. Not surprised at all though. Peter knows that something, as always, came up as they head into the science building, knowing that Dr. Schwinner built a new device and they are going to be demoing it. Peter finds the new machine, knowing it could change the world as a scientist begins the tour, explaining it to be an isotope genome accelerator. As Peter and Liz look over it, a red and blue spider above them descends towards Peter. Peter thinks that this is one big dream, and Liz agrees since if he thinks he's going to be wowing the world with what he's done, he's dreaming since he's just an average guy with an average life. She knows that she could be wrong though as the spider drops onto Peter's hand. Suddenly the spider is killed by someone who assures Peter that he was just dealing with the arachnid before it bit him and wasn't actually hitting Peter. The man knows that the size of the spider is deceptive since who knows what it could have done if it had bit him, and maybe it would have done nothing or maybe it would have done everything, but the only way they'd even know that if they let the monster have its way with Peter. The man puts it in a specimen bag, telling Peter that he couldn't let that happen since with such power, even if it was just a small amount like he has, it comes with no small measure of responsibility. The man is revealed to be the Maker, who asks the boy who really wants to live in a world where men like him stand by and do nothing, since he knows he doesn't want to. Once again, thank you for joining me here on this video. If you want to check out some more of my content, why not check out Superman issue 5 and Superman's battle with Silver Banshee, or Batman's continuing battle with the Batman of Zur and Ar over in Batman issue 136.